My mom kept letting herself into my apartment, so I moved without warning and let them think I was gone. My name is Layla, I'm 20 years old, and this is the story of how I made my own parents believe, just for a little while, that I had disappeared. It started on a normal Wednesday evening, the kind of day where you come home tired from lectures, only thinking about a shower and a quiet room. I unlocked the door to my small apartment near campus and stepped inside. I stopped cold, the lights were on, the television was playing a sports channel I never watched, and sitting on my couch, like they owned the place, were my parents. My mom smiled like it was a fun surprise. "There you are!" My dad lifted his hand and gave me a calm little wave. On my kitchen counter, right next to my keys, sat my spare apartment key. My stomach tightened. "How did you get in?" I asked. My mom held the key up proudly. "You gave it to us when you moved in. We're not breaking in, we're family." That line hit me like a slap because it wasn't the first time. For months I had noticed strange things. Dishes I didn't wash were suddenly clean. My clothes were folded in a way I never folded them. Food appeared in my fridge when I knew I hadn't shopped. My pens and notebooks moved around like someone had been organizing. I kept telling myself it was no big deal. But watching my mom eat chips at my coffee table in my apartment without asking, something in me finally snapped. I didn't scream. I didn't kick them out. I sat down and acted normal. I nodded while my mom talked about helping, and my dad joked that I should be thankful. But inside, I stared at that spare key and felt a plan start to form. If they truly believed family meant they could cross any boundary, what would happen if their daughter suddenly wasn't there to control anymore? Have you ever realized that the people who love you can still make you feel trapped? Because by the end of the story, you'll understand how I moved out without telling them, let them panic, and forced them to finally see what they were doing to me. That night on my couch, I tried to sound calm. "You could have texted first," I said, like I was only mildly annoyed. My mom, Nadia, laughed. "If I texted, it wouldn't be a surprise. Besides, Layla, look at this place. You needed me." She pointed at my textbooks on the table and the laundry basket in the corner like it was proof I couldn't live without her. My dad, Samir, tried to smooth it over. "Your mom just worries. You know how she is." I did know. I knew how she was when I was 11 and she put a tracking app on my phone just in case. I knew how she was when I was 13 and she read my diary and got angry about a boy's name. I knew how she was when I was 15 and she stood outside the bathroom door because I locked it and she thought something was wrong. But the worst change happened when I was 16. That year, my older brother, Yusuf, died in a car accident. One day he was there, teasing me in the kitchen, and the next day, there were casseroles from neighbors and a quiet house that didn't feel real. After that, my mom's worry turned into something heavier. It wasn't just love anymore. It was fear. Fear that she could lose someone again any time without warning. I still remember her grabbing my shoulders a few days after the funeral, holding me too tight, like she was scared I would slip right through her hands. "I already lost Yusuf," she whispered. "I'm not losing you." At 16, I believed her words were love. At 20, I realized those words had become a cage. Back in my apartment, I watched her rearrange the spice jars in my kitchen like she was fixing a mistake. That was when I finally said it. "You can't keep doing this," I told her. "Doing what?" she asked, honestly confused. "Helping you?" "No," I said, and my voice shook. "Letting yourself in, going through my things, changing my stuff. This is my home, Mom, not yours." Her face went stiff. "We helped pay your tuition. We bought that couch. We have a right to make sure you're safe." There it was, money turned into permission. "So you think paying for things means you can walk into my apartment whenever you want?" I asked. My dad shifted in his seat. "Let's calm down. She's just worried because you don't always answer." "You can ask if I'm okay," I said, "but you don't get to break into my life." My mom's eyes filled with tears fast, like they always did when she was losing control. "You used to tell me everything," she said. "Now I find things out from other people. I hear you skipped a study group, from your friend, not from you. Do you know what that feels like?" It should have made me feel guilty. Instead, it made me angry. "Maybe I don't tell you things because you don't handle them like a normal person," I said. "You don't just worry, you chase, you track, you show up. You treat me like I'm not allowed to grow up." My dad finally spoke, firm. "Layla, that's enough." But I couldn't stop. It was like years of swallowed words poured out all at once. "I jump every time my phone buzzes," I said. Because I'm scared it's you, demanding proof I'm alive. My mom sank onto the couch, breathing hard, like the truth was a weight on her chest. And that's when I understood something clearly. She wasn't evil. She was terrified. But her terror had turned my life into a locked room. Here's the question that started burning in my mind that night. When does love stop being love and start becoming control? Talking wasn't fixing anything. She heard my words, but she didn't accept them. So I decided I would show her what her control felt like from the other side. I didn't create the plan in one dramatic moment. It grew slowly. A week later, I sat in a sandwich shop with my best friend, Rena, and told her everything. She stared at me like I was describing a crime. "She has a key to your place?" Rena whispered. "Yes," I said. "And she uses it whenever she feels like it." Rena shook her head. "That's not normal, Layla. That's creepy." "What am I supposed to do?" I asked. "Demand the key back and start a huge fight?" Rena leaned forward. "Don't demand the key. Make the key useless." I frowned. "How?" She said it simply. "Move." The idea hit me so hard I went silent. Rena kept going. "Find a new place. Don't tell them. Let them show up to the old apartment and realize they don't know where you are." I pictured my mom unlocking my door like she owned it and finding an empty room. For a second, I felt sick with guilt. Then I remembered her smiling on my couch saying, "We're family," like that erased my right to privacy. "Isn't that too cruel?" I asked. Rena lifted an eyebrow. "Cruel to who? To the person who thinks your home is her property? She's never faced consequences. Maybe she needs one." I stared at my hands. "I don't want to hurt her," I said quietly. "I just want her to stop." "Sometimes people don't stop until they feel what they've been doing," Rena said. "Your mom is scared of losing you. But right now she's already losing you, just slowly." That sentence stayed in my head. So we made a plan. Careful and quiet, I would find a new apartment under my name only. I would pack little by little so it didn't look obvious. I would move everything in one weekend when my parents were busy with their usual routines. And then I would go silent for a short time. Not days and days, or just long enough for them to understand the fear of not knowing. "You're kind of staging a tiny disappearance," Rena said. "Not forever," I answered. "Just long enough for them to feel it." At night, I imagined what it would be like to live without being watched. Coming home and knowing no one had been inside. Leaving my laundry on a chair without someone folding it like I was still a child. Turning my phone off without panic. But then another picture would push in. My mom crying, my dad driving around looking for me, the fear on their faces. "What if they call the police?" I asked Rena. "Then you answer when you're ready and tell them you're fine," she said. "You're an adult. Moving is not a crime." "But it still feels mean," I whispered. Rena's voice softened. "And how did it feel when she tracked your phone? When she read your private stuff? When she walked into your home like it was hers? You're not doing this to be a villain. You're doing it to breathe." That was the truth. The new lease went through faster than I expected. A small one-bedroom across town, near a bus line, with my name on everything. No family contact listed, no spare key handed out. I thought I would feel excited. Instead, I felt nervous all the time, like I was doing something wrong, even though I wasn't. I packed in stages. First my extra books, then winter clothes I wouldn't need for a while, then personal things like letters and photos. I bought small duplicates, soap, toothbrush, towels, so my old bathroom still looked normal. My mom's texts changed as I got closer to moving day. At first they were normal. "Good morning, sweetie. When did you eat?" Then they became anxious. "You're quiet lately. Are you mad?" And then they turned into panic. "I drove past your building and your lights were off. Are you okay?" The fact that she drove past my apartment just to check my windows made my decision harder, and also more certain. If I warned her about moving, she would turn it into a fight. She would cry, promise to change, and demand my new address for emergencies. And I knew myself. I would give in. So I made one rule. For 48 hours, my life would belong to me. No tracking, no surprise visits, no explaining every step. The night before the move, I typed message after message, then deleted them. In the end, I sent nothing. I set my phone face down and whispered, "Just 2 days. I can handle 2 days." Moving day came fast. I woke up early and sent my mom one simple text. "Busy today with school stuff. Might be slow to reply. Love you." Rena arrived in her old car, full of borrowed blankets and empty boxes. "No going back," she said. We moved quickly, carrying boxes like we were escaping. By noon, my old apartment looked almost empty. I left a few things behind on purpose, a mug, a blanket, so it wouldn't look like a disaster from the hallway. My phone buzzed again and again. Send a picture. Are you okay? Why aren't you answering? I didn't respond. By late afternoon, all my important things were in the new place. I stood in the quiet living room and felt something I hadn't felt in years. Peace. Rena dropped onto the couch and sighed. How does it feel? Good, I said, and scary. Then my phone rang. Not my mom, an unknown number. I answered carefully. Hello? A man's voice said. Is this Layla Ahmed? This is Officer Chen with the Austin Police Department. Your parents reported you missing. My mind went blank. Missing? I repeated. I'm not missing. I moved today. I'm safe. The officer paused, then said, They went to your old address. The apartment was mostly empty, and they couldn't reach you for hours. They were extremely worried. So they had gone there. Of course they had. They had used that key again, probably without thinking twice. Only this time there was nothing behind the door. No bed, no clothes, no daughter. The plan had worked, but hearing the word missing made my chest tighten. I understand, I told the officer, but I'm an adult. I chose to move and I needed space. There was a calm silence. Then he said, That's your right. Seeds, would you be willing to call them so we can close the report? I swallowed. Yes, I'll call. When I hung up, I sat very still, phone heavy in my hand. Rena's eyes were wide. They called the police? I nodded. Yeah. So, it really hit them, she said softly. It did, I answered. And now I have to deal with what I started. I called my mom. She picked up on the first ring. Layla. Her voice sounded broken and sharp at the same time. Where are you? Are you hurt? Why didn't you answer? I'm safe, I said. I moved. Silence. You moved? She repeated like she didn't understand the words. We went to your apartment and it was empty, she cried. Your dad thought something happened. We called hospitals. We drove around. How could you do this to us? She finished. Not I'm glad you're okay. Not I'm sorry I scared you into doing this. Just, how could you do this to us? My hands shook, but my voice came out steady. That fear you felt today, I said quietly, is what I feel when you show up in my space without asking. When you call 10 times. When you act like you own my life. That's different, she snapped. I was protecting you. You weren't protecting me, I said. You were controlling me. My dad's voice came on the line, low and tired. Layla, we were terrified. I know, I said. And I need you to understand that your terror has been my prison. In the background, I heard my mom crying. I took a breath. I'm not cutting you off, I said. But I'm not giving you my new address. Not right now. My mom gasped like I had punched her. I'll meet you tomorrow, I continued. Public place. The bakery near the library. 3 o'clock. If you want a relationship with me, we need rules. Then I hung up before I could lose my nerve. That night, looking out the window of my new apartment, I felt 2 emotions at once. Guilt and relief. The next day, I walked into the bakery, half hoping they wouldn't be there because it would be simpler. But they were there. My dad sat stiffly with a coffee he wasn't drinking. My mom's eyes were swollen and red. Her hands kept twisting a napkin. When she looked up and saw me, something passed across her face. Pain, yes, but also a kind of shock, like she was finally seeing me as a separate person. I sat down. No hugs, no small talk. Just a table between us that felt like a border. You look tired, my dad said. So do you, I replied. My mom's voice was small. When we didn't sleep, I kept seeing your empty apartment. It wasn't punishment, I told her. It was a consequence. She flinched at the word. Do you hate me? If I hated you, I wouldn't be here, I said. I love you. That's why this is hard. My dad cleared his throat. What do you want from us? I took a breath. This was the part that mattered. First, I said, you don't get my new address. Not yet. My mom's mouth fell open. How are we supposed to visit? You don't, I said, gently but firmly. Not like before. If I want to see you, I'll come to you, or we meet somewhere like this. My mom looked like she didn't recognize me. Second, I continued, no more constant check-ins. You can text me once a day. I will reply when I can. If I don't answer for a few hours, it does not mean I'm dead. It means I'm busy living. My dad nodded slowly. That's fair. My mom turned to him, upset. Fair? After what she did? My dad didn't look away. We scared her into this, he said quietly. Then he looked at me. I didn't realize how bad it got. I should have stopped it. I'm sorry. That apology loosened something in my chest that had been tight for years. Third, I said, softer now. Mom, your fear is yours. It started when we lost Yusuf. And I'm sorry, I miss him too, but you can't put all that fear on me. Tears rolled down her face. Do you know what it's like, she whispered, to lose a child and wake up every day scared it will happen again? My throat burned. Yes, I said, because I lost him too. But I don't get to heal by trapping you, so you can't heal by trapping me. For a long time, she didn't argue. She just cried quietly. Finally, she asked, So, what do I do? Just stop caring? No, I said. Care in a healthier way, care enough to let me be an adult, care enough to trust me when I say I'm okay. My dad exhaled. We'll try, he said. And if we mess up, you can hang up, you can leave, you can protect yourself. I won't call it disrespect. My mom wiped her face. I don't know how to let go, she admitted. Holding on is all I know. Then we learn, I said. Both of us. She nodded slowly. Okay, she whispered. I'll look for a therapist, and I'll stop using fear as an excuse. I swallowed, and for the first time in a long time, I felt hope. And I won't do something like this again, I said. No more disappearing acts. My mom gave a tiny, shaky nod. Deal. Months have passed since then. Now, my parents still don't have my address. My mom still slips sometimes, 2 or 3 texts in a row, an extra call when she's anxious. But now, when I don't answer right away, the world doesn't end. One day, she even texted, Sorry, I got carried away. I'm working on it. That message meant more to me than any surprise groceries ever did. Do I regret making them panic? Sometimes, yes. When I remember my mom crying at the police station, I feel a sting of guilt. But then I look around my home, my real home, and I feel the quiet that I fought for. Without that hard wake-up call, nothing would have changed. My mom had to feel what it was like to not know where I was, because that was the same fear she had been forcing on me for years. So here's the final question I still ask myself on quiet nights. How do you keep love in your life without letting it become a lock on your door